Welcome, it's your boy Dave, and today we're doing a tier list for Dark Souls Remastered, which is just Dark Souls 1, but I haven't played Dark Souls 1 regularly, I've just played Remastered, so this is my tier list. Um, so I'm gonna just jump right into this. Again, I'm streaming this on, which I stream very often. If you guys, anybody watching this wants to check those out, uh, do so whenever. Um, uh, I don't got many people in chat right now, but whoever's in chat can also go along with these, with what I'm saying. But we're gonna go over the boss list for Dark Souls Remastered, and I will be putting them in a ranking. Actually, we'll adjust this real quick because I meant to add a F tier. Sorry for the difficulties I'm having. I am bad. It's great. But yeah, we're gonna be starting this in order of how I fought them, and it's going to be Asylum Demon is first. Asylum Demon will be a B tier. It's a fine fight. It's I think it's a very perfect introduction to Souls likes in terms of a boss fight. But it is relying on the drop attack, which is kind of iffy in terms of like what it is. I don't really like the arena or the design all that much, so it drops it down. The fight itself isn't amazing. I just think for where it is in the game, where it is in the series, it does its job perfectly. Um, Moving on to Taurus Demon, which I learned was optional, which I find dumb. Taurus Demon's also going to be a B, but I'll put it yeah, I'll put it ahead of Asylum Demon. No. Yes. I don't know. I don't know. I like the design a lot more of Taurus Demon than Asylum Demon. The fight itself is a lot better, even though it also kind of relies on the drop attack. It doesn't have to, but most people use a drop attack, and it's fine. It's good, but the arena is awful, which makes me question putting it down. But I think I like the fight more. I think I like the design a lot more, so I think I will stick with it ahead. Moving on will be Bell Gargoyles. When I find them on the thing, Bell Gargoyles, I'm gonna put in C tier. I feel like people really like Bell Gargoyles, but it's annoying. I found it kind of difficult. This was one of the first fights in Dark Souls that had real issues with how dodging and iframes work. The arena I don't like being on a slanted roof. The design, the concept's cool. Even some of the fighting is cool. If it was just one and it was that one was stronger, it had like double the health, it might be S because I love the design. I love that. But the arena sucks. I hate that there's two of them. I hate so many parts of it. I remember it being the worst, but it's fine. It's not like it's not like a F tier D tier level fight. Welcome back, Trina, to the stream chat. We're working on the Dark Souls 1 boss list now because nobody was here, so I decided to record another video. If you want to put in your, I don't know your history with Dark Souls 1, but if you want to put in your thoughts while I go over them, you can do so whenever. The next boss would be Capra Demon, which is another one that I think people hate, which I have a weird. I haven't played it. Well, it is what it is. Capra Demon, I think has a weird rap because people hate the arena so much because the arena first of all sucks and there's dogs in the arena. But the mechanics in the fight itself and Capra Demon himself are great. If it was just Capra Demon in his own arena or in an arena, it'd probably be A tierish. But the arena sucks, so it drops to B tier. The dogs in the arena drop it to C tier in behind Bell Gargoyles. I don't think it's the greatest. I think so much more could be in it to make it better, but it is what it is. Next would be Gaping Dragon, which is kind of a gimmicky boss. It's not really all that gimmicky, but it's a bit like gimmicky because you kind of just cheese it. Everybody cheeses it the same way. You kind of just olay it and then you hit it in the butt. It's fine. I think it'll be top of B tier, C tier, because unlike Bell Gargoyle Capra, it doesn't do anything that wrong that annoys me. The arena is just not super memorable. The fight, the design's not like I don't think is amazing. It's just a fine fight, and I like how it plays, but it's just it's kind of boring, but it doesn't do anything wrong. so I have it higher. Moving to Chaos Witch, Quelaag. Quelaag is going to be, whenever I can find it. I know these are kind of small. I apologize for that, but it is what it is. Where am I? Am I stupid? It's right here. Quelaag is going to be the first A tier. It's a great fight. It's pretty goddamn difficult. But it's the design's sick. The arena's sick. The area before it's awful, but that's fine. I love Quelaag a lot. I think it's a fun fight. I don't think it's anything spectacular in terms of like reinventing the wheel of boss fights, but it's cool. Great design, great fight. I love it. It has some dumb stuff to it that drops it a bit. Dumb moves to it that drop it a bit, but that's what it is. Moving next to is gonna be Moonlight Butterfly, which I think I'm gonna put in D tier because it's just simply really boring. Like the design's really cool, it's a fun fight, but Moonlight Butterfly is kind of a boring fight. You know what I could do? I could just put this on screen. Giving out free ads to halls. Uh, oh, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Nope, I clicked the wrong one. Technical difficulties. I just want to make this smaller. Just to make it, like, better presented. Okay. But Moonlight Butterfly, I think, is just it's just kind of boring. It's not anything fantastic. So I'll put it in D tier. It's not super hard either. It's really easy. It's just a boring fight in my opinion. Um, Moving on to Iron Golem. This is a fight that I don't remember a ton because I haven't played DSR for a while. It's been a few months, but it's like it's in a pretty not memorable part of the game. But I do remember liking the fight a lot. I remember it being a type of fight that I really like. It's just not as memorable, but the design's cool. The area's cool. The boss arena kind of sucks, but the fight is the fight. I don't know. It's just not in a memorable part of the game. It's right before Anor Londo, if I'm not mistaken. I believe. Um, and it's gonna be B tier. Hate how this works. Uh, okay. So I'm gonna have to drag this off screen and on screen. But it's right before Anor Londo. It's pretty solid. Yeah. In chat, Trina, you really should play DSR. It's so much easier than like Dark Souls 3 or any of the newer ones, but it's a fun time. Um, Iron Golem's just fine. It's just not super memorable. Now, Ornstein and Smo, S tier. Just did the thing that I said I needed to do. Ornstein and Smo is an S tier fight. It is so fun. It is the perfect difficulty for a good difficult fight. The idea is sick. The grandness of Anor Londo to begin with is amazing. I love it a lot. It was my favorite fight for a while. I think it's my favorite fight, unless I'm forgetting a fight. But it's a great fight. Um, Moving on next is the optional fight with Stray Demon, which is a fight that I don't find all that good because it's a repeat, just with more difficulty and a bit harder moves. So it's kind of just not really my type of thing. Um, it doesn't. I think it's low. I think I'll drop Capra Demon down because it does have the stuff that annoys. I think the dogs and stuff are really annoying. But yeah, I'll drop Capra down because the dogs are really annoying. But Stray Demon, it's just not. Again, I don't really like the arena. I don't really like the fight. It's not really all that great in my personal opinion, but it is what it is. Pinwheel. Pinwheel's a weird one. Because Pinwheel, it isn't anything special because it's ridiculously easy because it's one of those fights that you're supposed to. I think you're technically supposed to do earlier in the game, but nobody does because you have no reason to do so. So it's ridiculously an easy fight, and it's not very memorable because of how easy it is. But the arena itself's pretty cool. The run up's pretty not great. The fight I remember being all right, but I think it's just too easy. I think it's just too forgettable because of how easy it is. Um, So I think I'll probably go bottom D tier because it's just too the designs and stuff and the aesthetics aren't going to carry it past much. Pinwheel gets you extra heals. Pinwheel does give you extra heals, but the benefits you get from a boss fight, I don't really think just make me enjoy it better. There is an alright reason to do him early. Okay, I feel like nobody does though. I feel like that's a big thing is that people don't do him early ever. In like boss lists don't say, and I'm pretty sure that's not really that big of a reason to do him early because I'm pretty sure most people don't really need the extra health up until this point. The only fight I could think of the ones that I've already graded that are really all that difficult to benefit is probably Ornstein and Smo. Quelaag's pretty difficult. And then maybe Bell Gargoyles, but I don't think you're beating him. Yeah, I don't think he's easy enough to beat for Bell Gargoyles. Especially the area. I don't even know if you can get to him before, but I forget what you have to do to be able to get to him. I think you can just get to him, can't you? Off the rip through the cemetery. I think so. But next up will be the optional boss fight of Crossbreed Priscilla, which I kind of don't like the look of because it's very like the aesthetic kind of doesn't fit the game. But like the fight itself's really good. It's pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie. It's ridiculously easy. But the fight itself is like the mechanics are pretty fun. The area before it sucks though. Priscilla's Toes makes her S tier, quote, Solar Machete in my stream chat. But it's just a fine fight. I don't think it's anything spectacular. It could be better in a lot of ways. If the area before it didn't absolutely suck. Again, it's just not. I think I'll put it C tier below Bell Gargoyles. It's just, I don't know. It's just not it. Seath the Scaleless. This is another fight that's pretty easy when you do it. And it's not the area before it is absolutely horrible, and it kind of just sucks as a fight. Not a huge fan of it. It's just I don't know. It's not super memorable because it's not long enough to be memorable. It's not a great fight because it's just not a great fight. I mean, it just is what it is. So I think Steve. I think I'll put above Moonlight because I think it has a better design than Moonlight, and just the fight itself I think was better. But it's just not the greatest. Now Dark Sun Gwendolyn, which this is not the order I fought these. Gwendolyn, I think I fought way before this. I think I fought Gwendolyn. I might have fought Gwendolyn before I fought Priscilla. Honestly, I don't remember. It's been a few months. But Gwendolyn's a fun fight. The gimmick isn't my favorite, and there's a bit dumb stuff with the magic, and I'm not a big fan of projectiles fights. But the fight itself for magic projectile fights, in my opinion, does pretty well. I think low B tier fits pretty well. But it's just fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. After Gwendolyn is Ceaseless Discharge, and Ceaseless Discharge will be the first F tier fight. It's a gimmick that I don't really like all that much. The cheese for it's kind of stupid. The design's kind of cool, except for it's really hard to tell what he looks like from just looking at him. But it is just run in, run back, hit him once. I don't really like it. I'm not a big fan of gimmick fights, and especially not this one. Next, you got Demon Fire Sage, which is again just a copy, but this one I think does better because it does. I think this will be higher B tier. The thing with Demon Fire Sage is I think it's a good increase in difficulty. I know it's kind of the same, but it does increase I think it increases the design a bit. The arena isn't the best, but it's not too bad. I think it was a great difficulty for the fight for where it was in the game. It's a fine fight. I think it's pretty solid fight, pretty good. The design again isn't like a 10 out of 10, but I think it's better with the fire aspects and the weapon and all that. But it's a fine fight. Next up is going to be Centipede Demon, which is Centipede Demon's another fight that I think is pretty good. I would say it's probably below Gwendolyn. No, I'll put it above. I'll put it above Asylum. I think I'll put Gwendolyn above Asylum too. Um, it's just, oh, I'll put both of those above. God dang it. I'll put both of those above Taurus Demon as well because I think those go hand in hand. Um, Centipede Demon, the design's really cool. The fight itself, I remember being really cool. It has some iframey issues with its dodges and its AOE attacks. But the only reason it's not higher is the arena is absolutely awful. The arena sucks. It's just not good in my personal opinion. Um, Next we got Bed of Chaos. Hot take time. Bed of Chaos is the worst fight in Dark Souls. Hottest take ever. Right. Yeah, it's awful. It's dumb. The gimmick's not fun. The gimmick's stupid. The gimmick's difficult. It's just not a fun fight. I know you can cheese this pretty easy. I just didn't want to cheese stuff. That's kind of my whole goal playing through wasn't to cheese. But it's just not fun. And then you got Great Grey Wolf Sif, which I don't know people's actual opinions on Sif, but I think low C. It might be high D, but I think low C. It's not super difficult. The limping dog thing that's just ridiculously depressing was kind of unnecessarily depressing. Like I feel like they didn't need to do that to us. It didn't look great. It like visually the fur and all that looks pretty awful. The mechanics of the fight itself are fine. It's solid. It's not like anything spectacular, but the look of the fight wasn't amazing. The arena puts it up a little bit as well, but it's just I don't know. It's not my favorite. Then you got Gravelord Nito, which this is a weird one. Because Nito specifically, I think is my favorite design of any boss by like a lot. The great Nito's design is fantastic. I love it a lot. It's so good. But at the same time, I don't think the fight itself was all that memorable. I remember it being really easy. It wasn't super long. The arena wasn't like spectacular. It wasn't bad. I liked the arena. It just wasn't. But like Nito carries off of design a lot. But for me, it carries a lot. So I'll put it in A tier. It's just such a cool design. The concept of the fight's really cool. It's I don't remember it being like like as easy as like a Moonlight Butterfly or like a Pinwheel, obviously, but it wasn't too difficult. I didn't have much experience with him because I wasn't there a lot because of how easy it was getting it done with pretty fast. But it just is what it is. Next is Four Kings. I think Four Kings will be a high B tier, probably behind Iron Golem. Again, Iron Golem, for not being as memorable as it is one of my better fights because this is the type of fight I love. A type of fight I love. I love the giants just like stomping around type of fights. Four Kings is fine. The gimmick itself is meh. It's kind of really difficult, but the concept's really cool. The area is really cool. The look's really cool. The sounds are really cool. The fight itself is, I just think, in idea is sick. But the mechanics are all right. It is you kind of do just make this a poise off where you just get like the best armor. You just put on Havel's armor. You don't really you slow roll, just fucking tank as much as you physically can and just beat the shit out of them. But it's fine. Um, Next is Sanctuary Guardian, which is a fight that I don't think is all that memorable. I think it'll be IC because the fight itself was fun. The arena is not memorable. The design's all right. I think it could have been better. I don't think animal designs in the early Dark Souls looks were great. But I just think the fight was okay. I think it could have been so much better if it had a better design. But like the mechanics were it was just a solid fight, but it was nothing like super memorable. The last thing. Next, you got Knight Artorias, which is a hard fight. I struggled with this fight so much because when he phase upgrades, it's hard. And I know you can poise him out, but I wasn't using a very good weapon for that. So I know if you use like Zweihander for this fight, it's so much easier. But it is the type of fight that I really like. I accidentally just Blah, 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 blah. Blah. No, why would you? God dang it. Yeah, Artorias is the type of fight I really like. Um, it's I think it's a solid fight altogether. Like the mechanics are really cool. I think it's probably A tier. It's one of my better fights in the game. It's a really good fight. It's just really hard. It was really hard for me. Um, but yeah. Uh, moving on from Artorias is Manus, which is considered one of the hardest fights in all of Dark Souls. And me, who self-admittedly is a noob who is not good at these games. I'm not good. I first tried this fight, or was it second try? It was within the first 3 tries. I think I first tried it, and it's supposed to be one of the hardest fights in the. And I didn't think it was that hard. Um, it's like its design's really cool. The fight itself was pretty good, but I just didn't stick around with it as much, and I didn't even realize it was supposed to be that hard until way later. But yeah, it's probably it's probably high C tier. I'll put it behind Sanctuary Guardian because I remember Sanctuary Guardian a bit more, and I like the style of it more. Manus, I people who see this out of context probably will say this is dumb, but it's like I didn't have experience with it. It's not super memorable because I only went and fought it a couple times because it was easy for me. I beat it like real fast. Um, but next up was Black Dragon Calamite, which is the final boss of the DLC. Uh, which apparently is optional. I feel like the entire DLC is optional, so I feel like I don't know why it's labeled optional. I guess technically, when you beat Manus, do you beat the DLC? Is that like a thing? I don't know. Black Dragon Calamite, I think it's pretty good. It was really difficult. I think it'll be low A. It was really difficult for me specifically, and I struggled with it a lot. But I really liked the fight. I think this is my favorite dragon fight by like a lot because the DS2 ones are awful, and the one in DS3 that people really like, I didn't. And the DS3 one also had the worst one like ever for me. But then finally, you got Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, which I'm gonna be honest with you, the boss fight was pretty freaking easy because I did the DLC first, and the DLC is like harder than the final boss. But the boss fight was really easy. It was in. I think the design's incredible. I think the arena's fun. I think the music is fantastic, and it's just a really really fun fight. So I will put it in S tier out of respect for how much I loved the fight. I know it was too easy and I didn't stick with it a ton, so it's not as memorable, which goes against a lot of my stuff. But I think it is the second best fight in this game, and I would like to outline it that way, in my personal opinion. But yeah, that is all of Dark Souls Remastered. This game, unlike Dark Souls 3, which I made the tier list for Dark Souls 3 before this. I don't know which order I'm posting them, but Dark Souls 3 had a lot in the AS B tier and had just an even amount in the like C, D, F tier because it was top heavy but had pretty bad fights. This I don't think had that many bad fights. I think Ceaseless and the Bed of Chaos are the only fights that I think are bad. The 4 above it in D tier I just think are kind of boring. Um, Capra is bad for certain reasons, but it's also good for certain reasons. And then like the C tier fights are fine. Some of them have issues. Some of them are just really easy. Some of them are just kind of boring. And then B tier again are just decent fights that I feel like are less memorable. And then the A tier fights, Calamite, Quelaag, and then Artorias are all really good. Nito is fine. The design is just the coolest design I think in the games. And then Gwyn is great end off to this game, I think. And then Ornstein and Smoke is just a fantastic boss fight in general. But yeah, that is going to be this video. If you all enjoyed, if you all want to watch my streams, they're going to be up on my channel for Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 at the making of this video. Sekiro will be coming soon, and probably will be, a lot of them will be out by the time anybody sees this. Unless you see this the day of, which I doubt, because that's not how my viewership usually go. But this fight, but so far, I would say I think DS3 did pull through to being the better game of the 3. because the best fights towards the end of the game in the DLCs were just so good fights. Um, but I think Dark Souls One's just a really consistent throughout, just good, fine game. And I think Dark Souls One's areas is the thing that it does best. Its areas are so good and so fun to explore. But that's gonna be the end of this. Check out my video. Check out my other videos and my streams for this whenever you feel like it. I'm recording this on stream now. On the last stream for Dark Souls 3. Um, but check those out whenever if you ever get the chance. If not, and you like the content, but you like the video formats more, just give me a like and a subscription if you would be willing. It'd be really helpful and really appreciated. If not, that's fine. But make sure you all have a great day. See you all next time.